I haven't seen this character quite yet, but everybody's been blowing up my feed saying, like, bro, take a look at this. The animation isn't realistic. Bro, like, Ryu punched a fireball into existence, and that was 1987, man. Street Fighter characters don't walk. They announce themselves. Seems to be Street Fighter's newest addition to the roster. I don't think anybody cares about any of these other characters, but Tifa's kind of the #1, so take a look at this one and break it down. I will scroll my pen over things that I think need to be called out, as any good animator and artist does these days. This is a new character that just dropped. I think her name is YASMINE. No, I didn't do a screenshot, but yeah, let's just take a look and see what's up. Let's see our competition. She's got a weapon. Crazy kicks. She's got a lot of short range attacks. Dude, if that isn't smoke, I'm on drugs. That was a cool one. Oh, Tensho kicks. That's a cool move. That's a cool one. What was that? Dude, that animation just like went from like an 8 to a what the f was that? Did I just watch? I like the Tensho kicks. Okay, here's the ultimate. This is a long trailer. I feel like I'm just watching new versions of strings. Wow. And then her assets changed. All right, I think this one was a bit overkill. Yeah, the character looks pretty cool. I think the one thing that really stuck out to me around this whole trailer is that her attacks feel very, very short range. Like, she feels very contained. And a big component of that is that when you watch that, like, this character does not move her spine a lot. She feels very, very stiff. Like, well, like stiff in a good way, like grounded. But a lot of her attacks really don't have like a lot of push or weight shift or anything like that. She has a very centered core. That's like the big thing that I was noticing. I mean, obviously not as big as the other characters or broad, but a lot of the stuff that she does revolves around like her waving and moving her hands and arcing around her body than anything. That's the one big thing that stuck out to me. So she's got a weapon. She's basically got the same hook that we got for Smoke in MK1. Is that like a double-sided one or something like that? No, it's the same weapon. I forgot what they call those weapons. I love the hair. The hair is radical, man. So this is a new character, right? This isn't like a classic character or anything like that. Like, I don't think she was in the other Street Fighter games or anything like that. Pose is cool. I like how they're incorporating like the font of her name into this weapon that she's got, adding a little bit of like hairs on the end and stuff like that. Some pretty radical colors. Straight 80s, you know what I mean? Yo, what up, Jade? Going on? Welcome in. I think the design's pretty rocking. Design's pretty bitchin'. Look at those crazy anime eyebrows right there. Like they almost look like falcon eyebrows. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, very contained. Like this character, so like this is kind of like her A core. Let me get another color over here. It's like her A core that she's like really grounded through here. But then she kind of lives in that A core, you know, like even, especially when she's doing her attacks, like still that same stance, right? And you barely see that core move. Like there's hardly any push in and out with that with her spine and stuff like that, which really stuck out to me. So that's why they feel very contained. They're utilizing a hell of a lot of effects in order to kind of get that punch. I got to start studying some of these camera shakes because people were bitching about my camera shakes. But I guess I kind of see the point. Like just subtle stuff, I guess. Subtle stuff and like freezing in on the hit attacks, which really gets you but then even standing in that same pose too and just rotating to the next attack too, you know, that's the things that are really sticking out to me on that one. There's not really too much movement. It's not a bad thing. I just prefer a little bit more shape difference, like shape language, a little bit more breakage of how the shape is like really letting us know what's happening. Like for this, for example, this is a really strong pose. And then we go from there to like there at the bottom, you know, like we're going from top to bottom throughout her moveset. Yo, who flips like that? Interesting landing right there. I think that's kind of cool. Straight up like X pose. I dig it. Nice little recovery there, I think. What are these guys? I don't even know. What was this supposed to be through here? This is just her pushing her down? Is this a command grab? Like the physics are working, especially with Kimberly. I think it feels nice, but I don't know how I feel about that. That one feels kind of lame, like that little jitter that she's got with the arm over there. Feels very, very kind of like in between through there. It doesn't really feel like there's too much polish or kind of direction on what she's supposed to be doing next. Don't get me wrong, like she's a short character, but like seriously, like this couldn't just be a slam or something or fall. Just a throw, it looks like. It's a very contained throw. That's like if somebody throws you and just says, I don't want you to hit the ground too hard. You know, like just like a very hold back throw. Like, oh, I'm sorry, did you hurt yourself? But shit, that follow-up knee hit felt really good. This is good anticipation, right? You got like this energy to that energy, you know, right there. Like that's some good hit transfer right there. So wherever that throw landed, I guess don't worry about that part, but you're going to feel this part, you know, that's going to feel good. Yeah, a lot of her strings and stuff basically just revolve around her standing in that one area, which is kind of cool. Like, hopefully she'd be like a little faster character. It kind of sucks too, because I guarantee you, whatever's happening through here with the blade that she's got, we're not seeing any of that stuff. We're not seeing any flippity flip. We're not seeing any swipety swipe. We're not probably seeing all those like little surgical details they probably added into that, like all this stuff. You know, one, the weapon's too small. Two, she's moving way too fast. And three, you got, you know, all these giant freaking condiment stains all over the screen. Dude, this is totally Smoke, man. I saw this and I'm like, go watch the intro to Smoke in MK1. And I'm like, all right, they're pulling shit out of our playbook, which is fine. I'm not hating, but just like I tell everybody, you know, being an artist or being an animator is just stealing shit. When you steal from one person, you're a thief. When you steal from a bunch of people, you know, you're smart. The subtleness of her feet work are really working for me too. And look at this, guys, you know, call me crazy, but they got the toe animation in there too. We got feet animation too as well. Do we have like crunch? Do you have like little crunch-o-matic? That's a hard joint right there too, if I ever saw one. Funny thing is, when I animated Sigma in Overwatch, he was barefooted too as well, and I was so ready to animate his toes, and they just said, no, you don't need to animate that, which is kind of bullshit in the long run, because people will notice that stuff, you know? People will see that detail that you're putting on this character. I like how they're really sturdy. They're looking at this as, you know, this wrap that's happening on the feet. What's up with the feet? Bro, this is an animation channel, dude. We analyze everything. And don't act like you don't like feet, you know? What are you, a weirdo or something? No, what I like about it is that these strong wraps prevent the legs from breaking or prevent the ankles from moving or swaying. So, like, this back and forth is what I tell people all the time. Like, notice how the toes are gripping there. We're releasing pressure. The toes are going off. And then we're feeling that bank, that pan over the feet too as well. People don't understand this, especially when it comes to junior animators too. They think, oh, I just plant an IK foot and then let the animation work around it. No, in order to make your animation feel grounded and stable, dude, you got to pay attention to all this stuff. If your character has a boot, it's the same thing. You know, you're pushing off your ball of your toe. You're pivoting around the ankle. You know, you're keeping this part in particular, you're keeping that very stable and solid as you're moving back and forth too. That's what we look at when it comes to, you know, animating good foot placement. This is cool too as well. Like, look at that plant. They just got just enough off the ball of that heel, and those toes are digging into the ground. I love it. That's a lot of footwork over there. Shit. I feel like some of this feels a little, like the weight transfer feels a little light through here. Why is that? Yeah, it's probably this part. You're on this toe, your weight transfer is coming back, and then like you're barely placing any weight on this leg. That's what felt a little light. This pose is pretty dope though. Spread the toes. Yeah! I love it. That's just extra shit to animate, guys. You think you got it bad with fingers, with 10 fingers on a character? Imagine animating a character with toes too. Then you got 20 thing. Then you got 20 to worry about, right? Remind me, guys. Who's that Street Fighter character who's all about her feet? Like picking people up with her feet, you know? The more feet character you got, the more time you're staying in late at the studio to get this shit done. It's like, it's all balls out, you know? Cammy? No, I think it's Jury, yeah. That psycho chick. Let me see if I'm calling that out right. Yes, yeah, definitely correct. Jury, basically, you could put her foot in the character select menu, and that would be enough just to kind of like show you like what it takes to actually be a good foot animator. By the way, if you guys ever apply for fighting games, go ahead and put that on your resume. I animate feet. I love animating feet. You'll get a call back for sure. That's what fighting games all about, man. We're just a bunch of foot people who love feet. If you couldn't tell by now, we're a bunch of freaks. No, it's really cool. I like the pose. I think her hitting this pose is a little stiff on the upper body. It's like A to B. The pose is nice, but the transfer, how you get into it, is pretty A to B. But she feels pretty, like, again, she's a very stiff, solid character, you know, like very rooted into the core, not like very mobile or very flexible. I doubt this had anything to do with their production schedule in this character. Because here's the thing, guys, I've been around the block a couple of times. Like a lot of times when it comes to developing a character or releasing a character, you have a window, like let's just say maybe 3 months, 4 months, something like that, especially when it comes to DLC. And if you get to the point where a new character is being made, such as this, and you're not really sure how to implement, let's just say, a moveset or a personality trait or just something that makes sense of who that character is, you fall behind schedule. And what we tend to do around that time, say like halfway into schedule, we start reusing shit, or we start really cheating animation. You know what I mean? We start really, really hearkening back and saying, we know we probably only got a week to animate this. Our prototypes aren't looking quite as well, or maybe the idea is not working. What other asset is in the game we can take or use really quick? You know what I mean? We do that all the time in Overwatch. We did that all the time in Overwatch. Probably don't do it as more too, because they finally had some sense knocked into them that they don't need a sequel. That's how 2 of our characters got started. We started with a base. It didn't work. We totally reworked them from the ground up. We were like, what are they going to do for a melee? We try a melee. It sucked. We try another melee. It sucked. All of a sudden, we're like 4 weeks behind on a melee attack. So what do? Just grab a melee that works in the game and then call it your own. You know what I mean? So that's development scheduling. People think, oh God, you guys are so creative. Well, like, no, we just fucking steal shit. Again, we just take shit. Looks like they copied Cammy's hooligan for this character. Possibly. You know, I wouldn't deny it if they actually took a couple playbooks from a couple other characters. This is a new character, right? So this has got to appeal to the kids out there. We need to get some really crazy characters up in this piece. She came in on the top rope with those spread legs, man. Snap! Hiya! That is called flying frog, by the way, guys. This is flying downward frog pose. She's doing some yoga up in there. Very contained stuff, right? Like, what I do like, though, I like how they're really incorporating kind of like, as she's grounded, I like how she's got like a whirlwind of attacks. Like, she's doing a lot of these crazy spread arm arc attacks like that. That's pretty cool. Like, I'm really digging that part. It's almost like some Tai Chi type of movement in there that feels really kind of new. I don't think I've seen that quite before in other characters. Getting into this pose feels nice, but it just goes by way too quick. Superhero landing. Hey, that's my rogue pose. I have to make this character. Thanks, Capcom. Now that I know that you're watching, you could send the check. I don't know how I feel about her jumping this high from that pose. Doesn't really feel like there's anything it feels kind of weak, like nothing's lifting at her, but the slam's feeling good. Like that downward slam's feeling dope. Okay, how are they doing screen shaking here? Wow, impact before she even hit the ground. Oh, dude, look at all the potatoes and like the fruit and stuff in the background throwing back up. That's pretty sweet. Small little details. That's cool. The Tensho kicks are probably my favorite thing that she's got through here. It feels good too. I wish they didn't have, we're going to go watch her ultimate frame data when it comes out. Just wish they didn't have all these effects. I could clearly see what I'm looking at. These are hard to pull. Like, these are hard to animate and make look good while feeling like they're impactful. Anytime you do a spin kick, guys, and you're trying to make impact while keeping the flow going, it's really tricky because you only have that leg to make feel heavy. And when the core isn't moving, you really have to use a lot of tricks in order to make it feel heavy, which is why they're adding these little screen shakes in there too. She's got like a little bicycle kick in there as well. So how does this go? Okay, she kicks, she swings back, comes back again. That's cool. I dig it. Nice landing though too. Like, I love that. That's really, really cool. Like, look at that. Oh man, look at that twist. I dig that. Yeah. I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous lead into. I like that. Coming in and landing. That's cool. How did that happen? Let me check that out again. Spin blade attack, like Baraka. Okay, she's Luchador in this one. Okay, so she's doing a Frankensteiner or 450 flash. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I did not even make the connection the first time I saw it. Probably like pulling up the shoulder a bit through here. You know, just like small detail things like that. Dude, like straight up, man, we're watching this sweet, cleaned up mocap animation, and then it just cuts to this. She just turns into basically a 2-control axis rotation. But hey, the feet are still working, which is, it counts for something, right? She looks like some other fighting character I may or may not have seen. Like, obviously, like this scrunched up like boo-boo face is like all the rage, especially in Overwatch nowadays. She looks like somebody. Okay, here's her super. Let's check out her super. I wanted to look at this one. The initiation is pretty cool. Let's see, the into. That's cool. I like that. Like that jump catch. I just wish that the arm stayed this way. The arm stays that way and the thing drops into her hand. That would have been so tight. But I like the spin into. Ching! She stares deeply into the blade. What is... Oh, it's spinning in her hands. Okay. Bro, I think that's what like the weakest part of this character is just how small that little blade is and how much we're not really understanding what's going into it. So she's not chopping it. It's just a saw blade at this point, cutting them down. This is a cool pose. Like I think out of the whole trailer, I really dig this probably the most. The only thing that looks weird is she's looking dead at us. She's staring straight at my ugly face right now. And she's got a gap in her tooth too as well. Is there ever too many cuts to not understand what's actually happening in an action? That's what I think suffers for this one. It's got like that Taken 3 cutting, Taken 3 editing trick. So this part, I got confused. And I think that's due to the victim that they chose and her prosthetics that we're not understanding correctly. I like this. Whatever this is, I like this because this is totally utilizing her whole move set. So that whole stirring up wind shit, I think this is really cool. This is probably the coolest part of it. Medium close-up. She's actually doing it to us, which is fun. But here's the problem, which I don't like about this, is that this feels like she's finished something, right? This last final move that she's done. I like how they're actually utilizing, like, you know, her biting down on the weapon. That's really clever. But yeah, like after she's finished doing this, she's doing something again, you know? So like that cut doesn't quite read as, you know, probably the right thing to do. This is an interesting one. Like this crazy shit right here. Cool angle, nice slow-mo, but it's just way too quick. And the camera doesn't follow her. It just cuts to that one. And this is a quick movement, man. Like we would not be able to, like in our neck of the neighborhood, we wouldn't be able to pull something this quick and that fast off. It's either got to go slow motion for about a second or two. You can't just go like slow quick like that. But I love this, dude. I love the follow-up, though. That's cool. Bro, I think there's way too many cuts through here. This is cool. That's fine. But end it there, right? You don't even need this. Like, this is the part where it feels very, very duplicated. Okay, guys? You're pulling out. You're pulling in. You're crash zooming in. Next shot. Pulling out. Crash zooming in and then pulling out again. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just way too much of that. I get it, guys. At Capcom, look, your layouts are fucking phenomenal. You do some very tastefully, but sometimes you go way over the edge, man. You really start pushing shit just to show off that you're pushing shit, in my opinion. I think this is where you end it. Like this part, boom. I think, honestly, you could have gone straight from here to there. Like, you probably didn't even need this shot. But it's right because it shows the information that you need. This little bubble effect is really cool, too, as well. But yeah, I just don't think they needed this. What does this say? This isn't KO, is it? But what does that say? It's spelling something. Is that just like some zigzags or some shit like that? Cool shot, right? You know, like... Maybe if there's a little bit more Hadouken in there, really push that. It like, you know what this feels like, chat? This feels like this. Oh my God. Hang on a second. Hold on, guys. Brother. Hang on. Oh God, we got the I want the ocean dub. All right, ready? Bro. Look at this. Same pose. Same pose with the exception of giving it a Dutch tilt. Right, guys? Trust me. What's crazy is that this is my favorite episode of Dragon Ball Z, and I know this episode frame by frame. Nice ending, though. That's cool. I like how we all of a sudden go from just like a badass quick martial artist to like a really bubbly, very cheeky character. And again, guys, you know, foot shapes. They can add so much to a character. They should have done the same thing with this one too as well. Bend that out, push that giant toe forward. She's stabbing her head, by the way. Oh, okay, she's pulling the thing out, okay. Well, if that's the case, man, you should have just had the hook a little bit more further out. Dude, she feels stiff even through here. But I guess that's just kind of like the way our character's supposed to be. It's not supposed to break the spine too much. It feels, the only problem I have with this shot is it feels very symmetric, you know? It feels very one-to-one. And it doesn't even break out. I mean, I know they were trying to keep everything in the camera, but it feels very, very one-to-one. And then all of a sudden, easy bake oven. Her hair changed. Yay! Even that's symmetrical too.
That sounded kind of cool, right?
That's her victory screen? Okay. Well, hey, 3 minutes of Yasmine, man, and everybody already wants to play her. Overall, yeah, very still. I like the design. I think the design is really radical. I love the colors. I like how they're presenting her. She does look very familiar, though. I can't put my finger on it, but the face does kind of look a little familiar. I don't know how I feel about, you know, the little weapon, because it's Street Fighter. Who uses weapons in Street Fighter? And the other thing is, like, she's got a lot of smoke from MK1 for sure. I tell you what, she actually works really well with Kimberly. Like, just kind of like looking at the opposite ends of the spectrum with these two character designs, it fits. You know, like, I really like the way that she feels like she belongs in Street Fighter 6, no doubt. As far as the movesets, though, they're very stiff. They're very quick. I think this is what kind of differentiates her from the pack. But I just wish they could have done a little bit more with this wind movement shit, like this whirlwind kind of stuff that she summons. I feel is really, really nailing on what her moveset could be full of doing, you know. Pretty much the airbender. Yeah. Like, I think if they implemented a little bit more of that stuff, because the big thing is this super, dude. Like, what she's doing here, like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, I don't know what's happening. But what she's doing here, this kind of stuff, that's cool. That's like some Tai Chi stuff, you know? Like, I'm down with that. I really like that about her character. Yeah, really bubbly personality. And the feet animation is great. I think that really stands out the most of her, like how grounded she is with her feet. But yeah, just a lot of this stuff, it just feels kind of like, feels very organic, very strong pose, like some really nice strong poses. This is really great. Like, this is awesome. And then we get to this, you know, and we get to this symmetrical stuff. And I'm like, what happened? What happened to the awesome? You know, like, where'd it go? Cute. I love the colors. I'm an 80s baby, so like, she just reeks of my generation, you know? Really does. That's Yasmine. Cool character. Looking forward to what people are going to say about her. And then we got 3 others, right? We got the Kirby guy. We got Tifa. We got Mrs. Final Fantasy VII herself. Everybody's going to be waiting for that one. But thankfully I've got my animation already out there, and Tifa fans are already pissed. Tifa fans are already pissed, and I don't, because, like, what'd you expect? If she's in a fighting game, she's gonna get her ass kicked. Compared to Ingrid, the last DLC character, she looks like a step down in my opinion. Ingrid animates. Yeah, Ingrid was like, dude, nobody saw that coming. You know, nobody saw the Ingrid character making appearance. Nobody saw her aura hitting that hard. You know what I mean? And yeah, I feel like the animation bar, so to speak, it really sucks, because once you drop out of a season that went pretty hard with all those characters, you're just expected to keep upping the ante. You know, and I think with the Tifa reveal, that ante has significantly been upped. Like, where our balls are in space right now, expecting like the best character you've ever seen in a fighting game. and most importantly, how she's going to play, what she's going to look like. But when you have other characters attached to that roster, especially a new one, you're looking for something very, very different. And I think Ingrid kind of fit that bill a little too soon for us. You know what I mean? Does she make me excited to play the game? Not really, you know, but I think for pulling out a new character, as Street Fighter is trying to do, like I remember something that they were saying that they're trying not to appeal to the old heads anymore. They're trying to appeal to the new generation. By the way, which you guys got to do eventually when it comes to the next generation. But that's the problem. When you make a statement like that and you basically just say, okay, here's a DLC full of brand new people that you've never seen before, you tend to lose your core audience. All right, guys, that's all I got for Yasmine. Yeah, fun character. I think the world's going to love her. Your mom, your dad, your grandmother, they're all going to love Yasmine. They're going to be rushing to play Street Fighter 6. Yasmine. I wonder if it's Yasmine. Yes, man. Yes, queen. You should have called her Yes, queen.